Hello everyone and welcome back to Nine Lives Whispers of Wonder. This week I'm going to read you a Norse folk tale, which I am really excited about because I'm obsessed with Vikings and anything to do with Norse mythology. And I'm really glad to hear that you're all enjoying this so much. I definitely really enjoy reading these for you. It's a lovely, calming space. And I choose these specifically just something a little bit different, maybe not the classic fairy tale, but everyone kind of has a little bit of a lesson in it. So this one is called Why the Sea is Salty. This tale has many versions and it's widely told around Europe, but there are also stories from as far as the Philippines that try to explain why the sea is salty. This is just one of many of them with a message about being grateful for what you have. Once upon a time, there were two brothers, one elder brother who was very rich but very unkind, and a younger brother who was poor yet generous. On the day before Christmas Eve, the poor brother found that he and his wife had not a bite to eat in their house or any money to buy food. They'd even looked around their house for items they could spare to sell, but found nothing. "Oh, my love," the poor brother's wife cried, "what are we going to do?" "I'm not sure," her husband answered, for he simply did not know. Well, he knew one thing he could do. He just didn't want to do it. "Why don't you ask your brother?" his wife suggested. "Surely he can spare us something for Christmas Eve." The poor man wasn't fond of his brother, for he was selfish. But what else could he do? His wife was in tears, and the last thing he wanted was to disappoint her. So he put on a cloak that had seen better days and went to visit his brother. "Please, brother," he said when he reached the rich man's door, "we have absolutely nothing. I beg of you to help us out so we can have something to eat." The rich brother paused before he spoke. "I will cut you a piece of beef, but only if you do one thing for me." "Whatever it is, I'll do it," the poor brother vowed. "Here is the cut of beef. Now go to hell," the rich brother said before shoving a steak into his brother's hands. The poor brother's mouth watered at the sight of the steak, that he couldn't think straight. "Thank you, brother. You have no idea how much you have saved us." As the poor brother walked home with the steak tucked in his cloak, he thought about his rich brother's words and realized that this beef must not be for himself and for his wife to eat after all. Instead, he had been sent on an errand. The steak was for a man named Hel, and he knew that as hungry as he was a promise was a promise. He spent hours traipsing through the forest to find the man named Hel, determined not to break his word. Along the way, he met an old man with a long beard, chopping Yule logs. "Excuse me, I am looking for Hel. Could you tell me, am I on the right track?" the poor man asked. The old man nodded. "Keep walking straight, and soon enough you'll get to Hel. Though be cautious. I see you have steak with you. Hel loves beef, and he'll do anything to get it from you. Whatever you do, do not, I repeat, do not accept any of his offers." The poor man was surprised. He had been planning to simply hand the steak over to Hel free of charge. But what if his brother never gave him any food of his own? Perhaps this was an opportunity for him to earn something for himself and his wife at last. "Then what should I do?" he asked. "Ask him for a millstone. Even if he refuses at first, stay firm that it is the only item you will trade the beefsteak for. Trust me, it will be worth it. With the magic of the millstone, you will never be poor again," said the old man. "Thank you for your help," the poor man said before walking on. It was only a matter of minutes before he came across Hel's door. He rapped on it, and as he was let in, he found that, just as the old man had warned, Hel's eyes lit up at the sight of the steak in his hands. "What have we here?" said Hel. "Is that for me?" "I certainly hope it is, for I haven't tasted meat in nearly 5 decades. Hel lunged at the poor man, swiping at the steak, but the poor man was prepared and held it at arm's length from him. "You can only have this cut of beef if I can have your millstone." Hel was taken aback by the poor man's request. "How about some coins instead?" "No, the millstone is what I want." The poor man stood his ground. "What about some clothes instead?" said Hel. "Your cloak looks like it's seen better days." "No, the millstone, please." Hel sighed. "What about precious gems? I have all kinds." "Again, all I want is the millstone." Hel bit his nails. He hadn't eaten meat in so long, but he did not want to give up the millstone either. In the end, he could not contain his hunger and gave in. "Fine, you can have the millstone. But do you even know how to use it?" "No, I was hoping you would tell me how to use it." Hel shook his head. Why had this man asked for something he had no inkling of how to use? He begrudgingly explained, Whatever you wish for, just say, grind my millstone. Once you have enough of whatever it is you wish for, then say, enough and done, and it will stop. The poor man's eyes widened. Truly? It's that simple? It seemed too easy. It's that simple. Now go. The poor man wrapped the magic millstone in his cloak and walked until he reached his home. When he arrived, his wife was an utter mess. Where have you been all this time? She cried. I thought you'd gone missing or you were dead. I promise I have a good explanation, said the poor man, and so he told his wife the tale of how he had retrieved the millstone from hell. Now let's try it out. He rubbed his hands together for warmth. Grind my millstone. We would like a feast. The millstone began to grind, and before their eyes appeared meat, beer, and so much pudding you could nearly drown in it. It truly was a feast for royalty. The poor man and woman ate until there was no more room in their stomachs. Enough and done, the poor man commanded, remembering what hell had taught him earlier. The millstone had ground enough food for a few days, but they realized that food was not the only item they had been lacking recently. Their clothes were so torn and raggedy that they were not even fit to be repurposed. Grind my millstone, we would like some new clothes. As before, the magic millstone began to grind, and it did not take long before the couple had new, fine clothes to wear. Enough and done, the poor man said, when there were enough clothes to last a lifetime. From that day on, they never lacked anything ever again. The millstone did as instructed, giving them a new house, soil that could grow crops, and so much more. In fact, they soon had so much that they hardly needed to use the millstone anymore. When the rich brother got wind of his brother's change of fortune, he was horribly irritated. One day, his brother had been at his door begging for a slab of meat, and now he had so much that he was giving it away to people, as if he was a king. Annoyed and envious, the older brother marched up to his younger brother's door and demanded, how did you become so rich? It's funny, actually, the poor brother said. You helped me. I did? Yes, remember when you came asking for some food for Christmas Eve? You told me to take that cut of beef and go to hell. Well, I did exactly that. And when I delivered the meat to him, hell gave me a magic millstone in exchange. The rich brother's jaw dropped. He could not believe that he had unintentionally had a hand in his brother's good fortune. Well, show me this millstone. I must see how this machine has helped you receive your good fortune. The poor brother put the millstone on the table and called, grind my millstone. We would like good food to eat. The millstone began to grind and quickly poured out delicious meals for the two brothers, loaves of bread, buttered potatoes, and slabs of top-quality meat. The rich brother's mouth watered as he stared in disbelief. He may already be rich, but he was greedy. He needed that millstone. Sell it to me, he demanded of his younger brother. The poor brother was shocked. It's not for sale. Well, lend it to me then, the older brother rolled his eyes. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't be in this position in the first place. This at least was true. He did owe his brother for sending him on the journey to hell, didn't he? You can only have it for one day, okay? The poor brother offered. Fine, whatever, I'll take it. The rich brother snatched the millstone out of his younger brother's hands and practically ran off with it before his brother had even had the chance to explain how it worked. The rich brother knew exactly what he would do with the millstone. He would have it grind out salt for the fishermen who were salting their fish. It would make their jobs easier, and the rich brother could sell his service for a fortune. He ran to his boat and rowed out to the sea. He pulled out the millstone and laid it on the boat. Grind my millstone, give me salt. The millstone began to grind again, pouring out the finest grains of salt imaginable. It poured so much that the boat was soon full. When the brother was satisfied, he asked it to stop. Now stop, my millstone. But nothing happened. I said, stop grinding. I have enough salt. Still, the millstone kept turning. What is happening? Why is this still going? He asked himself, beginning to panic. I said, stop. The millstone kept grinding and pouring out salt despite the man's desperate pleading. Perhaps if I throw it in the sea, it will simply stop, he said. And so he tried to throw the millstone overboard, but he could not lift it. It was far heavier now than it had been before, laden with all this salt. He could not for the life of him understand what was happening. Soon the boat was so full of salt that it began to sink. Help! I need help, the man cried, but there was nobody close enough to hear him. It didn't take long before the boat, along with the man and the millstone, sank to the bottom of the sea. The greedy man was never seen again, and the magic millstone? It never stopped turning. Each passing day, it is said to continue grinding out the finer salt, filling the whole ocean. So that is how the sea is salty. It's a magic millstone, guys. Who knew? I love that story so much. There's a few different tellings of it, but I thought that was the nicest one. So that's a little lesson in being grateful for what you have. already, because if not, you might make the sea salty. So thank you for listening to my story this week. I can't wait to be back for another Whispers of Wonder. Take care, everyone.